as always, I see I've got my collar sticking up, get myself sorted. How are you all doing? Give me a thumbs up as usual, and do pop me a note in the comments so I know you are present. And if you are new to the group, say hi so that we can all say hi back to you. Let's see who's going to be first in the house tonight. I didn't want to do that. Didn't really want to show the other part of my room. Hello Lydia, she's first in the house today. Hello Trisha. So what I'll do is I'll just give you a little show of what we're going to be making tonight. If you have missed it, I think we've done 3 tutorials on Kumihimo so far. Basic Kumihimo, Kumihimo with lots of strands to make a heart. Last week we did beaded Kumihimo. So this really is a recap on beaded, but also looking at how we can use a donut. I think there's actually a hole in this one, but you can, of course there's a hole in this one, but what I meant to say was I think there's a top hole in this one as well. But to be honest, is there? Yes, I think there is. There's a top and a bottom hole as well, but to be honest, you don't need to use it. And I'm going to show you tonight as well how to use a focal bead. So I'm really quite excited to show you this. I haven't finished it all, but I've got it right up to that so that I can show you. So I've got this amazing amethyst focal bead. I've got this beautiful little cone end. So, and preformed beaded Kumihimo. So we're going to put that together, but we're going to look at the donut first. So let's have a little look who's with us. Hello Sharon, she says she's looking forward to this one. Yeah, me too. Hello Anne, hello Linda, hello Kim, hello Carol, hello Janet, Hilary, Annette, hello Francis, hello Tracy, hello Jackie. Hello Janet, received a new boards and threads today, fantastic. Hello Bev, hello Saba, hello Carol. It's lovely to have so many of you in the group. Don't forget there will be a giveaway as well, so it's really important that you like the post and comment. It doesn't matter if you're not watching on the live, because I will let it run until tomorrow evening for you to comment. So I've picked up a few little bits along the way, sort of tips and tricks that I'm going to hopefully pass on to you. Let's talk about materials, but before we do that, just from experience of us having a few blips on Facebook, okay? For some reason, the platform seems to have been a little bit wobbly. So a couple of tips. Now, if you've got lots of apps open, you've got WhatsApp open, you've got Twitter, you've got Instagram, turn them all off and just have the one Facebook app, okay? That, from my experience, if you have lots going on your phone, it will also distort the reception. So that's the top tip, is that's another way, is just literally swipe up. I'm not saying uninstall them, just take them away from being currently active if you've got them also open on whatever you're watching. Hope that helps. Hello Louise, hello Jane. Oops. Her parcel arrived as well, brilliant. Hello Linda, she managed to catch up from the beginning, bonus. Carol says, one day I will get into this. It looks frightening. Well, I'm hoping I'm going to take the fear out of it for you. But if you've not done any before, Carol, you might want to visit the first one first, doing the H strand. It's exactly the same. This is H strand, but this is doing beads. But I leave it entirely up to you. Hello, Saba. Rachel, for every bead you can remember, do we need to use a new disc every time? No. You only need a disc for using rat tail and another disc for using the beaded Kumihimo. So one board you can use for multiple beaded Kumihimo projects. Hello June, hello Kay. Sharon says she finds I lose you less if I don't use the app. Okay, good tip. Linda said, do it. I did my first one, ended up with a necklace, bracelet and a ring. Linda, those looked amazing. If you missed that, go over to Beaders of Beads by Verchiel and have a look. And don't forget to share your makes. Right, let's talk about material, shall we? Okay, so you need your Eslon thread. Now, I have sold out of all of the Eslon thread that I've got, but they're easily available. You can buy them on Amazon as well. The only difference is the ones that I was stocking, you've got multiple colours on there, whereas I think you can only really buy them in full reels. So you're going to need, I would say, probably 1.20 meters of 4. So 4 times 1.20 meters per side. Okay, because obviously we're going to do this in 2 sides. I'm not going to do all of those online because you will be bored watching me do that. So what's nice with the Eslon, I'd be inclined to stick with that brand because if I'm honest with you, it doesn't fray. It will fray a little bit, but it's pretty sturdy, and you can just use a little lighter on the end if you need to. Now, I have got lots of yummy beads coming up as well in the feed tomorrow. The beads that you can use as focal beads in the centre. There's already some up that have been sort of snapped up as well, the agate. But hopefully by doing the amethyst bead as well, I can actually give you lots of options. Now, we're using size 8 seed beads tonight. I've actually used, so in the sample that we're going to look at, this is the one we're going to come back to, I've actually used 4 colours. It doesn't really matter where you place them on the board, but if you want to know how they're going to turn out, check out Beaders of Beads by Verchiel, and I've popped a link in there, which is something that you can sign up for to get free instructions. It's not from me, on how you lay it out on the board as to how your weave comes out. So we're going to actually halve those. It's like my hair, honestly, except perhaps not as wild. Little tag tie in the middle. Actually, no, that's not what we're doing. Brain in gear. Donut bead, it doesn't matter what sort of size we've got. I'm using 4mm glue ends. I'm going to use some cotton to actually bind as well, and I've got a selection of beads. So I'm going to zoom in. That was the other thing, is grammage. Okay, how much do you need to make a necklace like this? Well, I was really surprised at how little you need. I have threaded on 50 beads on each of the 8 strands, and that works out roughly at either 20 grams in total, or obviously if you're having 2 colours, 10 grams of each colour. If you're having 4 colours, 5 grams of each colour. Or if you've got beads left, just chuck them all in the pot and do a bead soup. Okay, now I've changed the design a little bit. Rather than doing a whipping knot, I am just going to do an overhand knot, because I thought, you know what, it looks just as nice and it's so less complicated. So if you find that you would like me to show you a whipping knot afterwards, then please let me know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop you over to the other stand, and I'm going to take you through the demo. As always, have a chat between yourselves. I will reverse this so it's not a mirror image, and I'll pop it on YouTube. So if it's looking mega confusing, it is a mirror image, and sadly there's nothing I can do about that on the live. Okay, so let's press the wrong button. Right, let's clip you up there. Okay, hopefully you can see that all right. Now, so these are my 4 strands that I've cut, and we're going to find the ends, and we're going to actually pop one end through the donut. Do you know what? This is the fiddliest bit, is actually getting all the ends together. I don't think I'd suggest ironing. I don't even know if you can iron these or if they just burn. Anyway, so I'm going to pop that. So we're just going to deal with one side for now. So we pop that through. Try and get them as even as you can. I will close up for you guys in a bit, okay? And then, so lay them all out and then wrap around your finger and bring the threads through. Now, either use a needle, I'm going to cheat because I've got my scissors at the handy, and just pop that through the loop so that you can actually guide where that knot's going to be. Okay, so it's just literally an overhand knot, and then what I do is pull each strand so that you can make sure that it sits nice and neat. Okay, so then what we're going to do is pop it on the board. Let's just zoom in a little bit. So donut goes underneath, threads come up. Let's just show you how that's come out there. Okay, so it's pretty neat. So if you've done basic Kumihimo before, you'll know how to lay out the strands. So we have donut positioned in the center underneath, and you're going to actually place all of these threads either side of both of these lines, north, south, east and west. So you've got 8 strands. Okay, now if you're using a weight and you're going to make your own weight, let me show you what I did earlier. Look, all I've got is some cone ends, right, that I've got an abundance of. Do weigh them, don't, because you don't want any more than 50 grams. I use more than 50 grams and it stretches your cord so that you've got gaps in between. So I just used a little sandwich tie, and then I just attached it with a bit of string around the donut. Now, if you're going to make use of that, you're going to have to make sure that it's elevated rather than resting on the table, because it has no purpose otherwise. Now, do make sure you thread on all of your beads before you start, because if you start and then you start the first little bit, then you thread on your beads, you don't know what your pattern's going to be, and you won't know how to match it up the other side. So do write it down, how you've laid out your threads. Take it from me, I forgot on my first one. So write down the formation, you know, for example, you know, which colours have you put in which slots. So then thread on 50 beads each. So let's just, for those of you that haven't seen it before, so you'd literally just thread them on. If you struggle, and it starts fraying, then just pop a little lighter on the end. Now when you've threaded them on, let me take this one off. I've got a size 6 seed bead or something bigger, and just thread it back through itself so that it stops them all from dropping off. And also don't have them too close up to your board, and that way you won't have to keep altering them. Why did I have to do the one that's got the least amount of thread left? Typical. Right, okay. So you can see that I had all of my beads on there. So thread on all of your beads. On this I'd got powder blue, turquoise, silver lined brown, and plain silver lined as well. So what we're going to do first of all, let's look at the other one, is we're actually going to just do a little bit of basic Kumihimo before we start introducing the beads. So this is what we would do, and again remember I will mirror image it back. So top right to bottom right, bottom left to top left, quarter turn anti-clockwise. Now you continue this until you have, I would say, about 4 to 5 millimeters of plain thread before you start introducing your beads. Top right to bottom right, bottom left to top left. So it will circulate all the way around the board. Now make sure your donut stays in the middle. Top right to bottom right, bottom left to top left, quarter turn. It really does help, if I'm honest, particularly with this bit, to actually use the weight. Now I tested it with and without, and the actual braid is a lot neater. It's also a lot smaller as well. A lot smaller, a little bit smaller, maybe that's an exaggeration. So I thought really I ought to play around with the weights to see. And like I say, don't use anything. If you can weigh it, do so. You could always, if you're not sure and your weighing machine doesn't go that low, is perhaps look up how much the weight is of penny coins if you've got any, and just put the appropriate amount in there in a bag. Right, bottom up. Right, so I don't know if you can see that. Let's just get in a wee bit closer. So I don't know if you could see that. So that's your overhand knot from the start. So we're just doing one side, and now you've got your plain beads. So what you'd start doing then is you'd start introducing your seed beads. So here's one I prepared earlier. So obviously you don't stop at the start at the 0, you just carry on. So you add a bead. Now I'm going to zoom in just for a moment because I really want you to see exactly what I'm talking about here. Now that bead must drop down and lock underneath the one that goes horizontal. So you're still doing the same weave, top right to bottom right. You add a seed bead in every single time. You hook that one underneath the next horizontal. So you're doing the same weave. So hopefully you can see, if it pops up, you need to position that back, otherwise it will sit funny in your weave. So top right, so that hooks underneath the horizontal one, and every now and then you need, so that hooks underneath, so you're doing the same weave. Make sure it sits in the middle and you're keeping a good tension on there. So drop that in, that's locked in with that horizontal strand. So drop that down, so again that's in horizontal. Now if you get yourself in a bit of a pickle, you've had a little tea break, can't remember where you were last at, number one, I would pop your next move down so that you know where the 3 is where you do your next move up. But okay, you forgot to do that. How are you going to tell where your next move is? So can you feel the threads? You've got a group of threads, top and bottom, that are closer to you, and ones that are underneath. The ones that are closer to you and raised at the top are the ones you've just worked. So that means the ones that are underneath are the next group you work. It doesn't matter which way you start them. So if you do get them a different way round, you will still get the same weave. And a better way of actually telling about the same length with your necklace is obviously to pop the same amount of beads. Now I say 50 is an average. On some of them, I think this one I've only used 45 on each strand. Now this is how I check the lengths, so let's just show you. So I did exactly the same with the other side, set the board up exactly the same way. Now it's a bit fiddly to try and suss out how the threads, you know, to get the same length, but I pop it through, line them up, and just try as best you can. So I've got a little bit more to go on that, but the good thing is it's going to be at the back, so you know, if it's a little bit out, you're not going to notice it. So top right to bottom right, bottom left to top left, quarter turn. Every single move you include a seed bead. Let's drop that down. Now the mixed, silver lined mixed are really nice. So, you know, say you can't really, perhaps you're struggling to find a combination of beads, there is a lovely mix of silver lined beads, where obviously it will be a pocket full of randomness, but obviously it takes any concerns that you might have about marrying up colours. Or if you've got any kids around, get them to choose, because honestly kids are brilliant with colours because they've got no fear. They've got no fear about popping colours together. Right, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to do the same with the end, is I'm going to just do a plain weave, and you can take all of these beads off if you need to as you go. Again, you just do a small amount at the end, enough to actually go in the glue ends. Okay, top right, bottom left, top left. There is actually a post in the group where I've put all the links to the Kumihimo videos. So if you can't find it, just pop in the eyeglass at the top of the page, just pop in Kumihimo, and hopefully it will bring up that particular post. It's also pinned to the top of the page as well. It's one of the featured posts. But you know, if you're a bead embroiderer, a wire worker, you do bead weaving, you know, you do pendants, you want something a bit different to go and complement what you've made, these are brilliant. And hopefully, you know, you can adapt some of these methods to actually combining it with your pendants. Right, just a little bit more. Right, so when you've finished, before you take it off the board, take opposite threads on the underneath, so the bottom threads, and tie a temporary overhand knot twice. It's just really so that when you remove it, you're not going to undo all of that work that you've just done. So take it off. Now I will just quickly do a little recap on how to do the glue ends, okay? I have done it in a previous one. We've got lots of time left, so we've got lots of time to do it. So here we go. That's your donut. You've got your overhand knot at the start. You've got your beaded Kumihimo. I really do love this combination, and it brings out some of the tones in the jasper, or the agate I should say. Right, you need to secure this. So in order to secure it before you trim it, you need to actually knot around it. Now if you need to chop a bit of it off, then you can always bind it a bit further on. So I've got a loop there, a loop with the two ends. I'm going to bring the two ends through that loop. I always seem to struggle with this when I'm online. And pull. Okay. And then I'm going to actually wrap it round to make it nice and secure. So what you're basically doing this for is when you cut the threads at the end, you just don't want all of your hard work coming undone. So tie an overhand knot. You can always use a little bit of nail varnish as well, if you wish, which will just sort of help seal that. Where's my nail varnish? I'm going to just do a dab of that. Like so. Now, with my glue ends, I've attached the fastening to one end and I've attached the extender to the other. If you want to know how to do that, that's in the previous tutorial that we did. We're going to use E6000 glue, which I found, you can see how well used mine is, which is to me the best glue to use. So you can undo this, or you can just cut it straight across, which I think is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cheat a bit. But making sure that you don't actually cut the binding that you've done. Okay, so let's just show you that. So you want as little as possible to be stuck in the ends here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pop this on a little, I used old laminated things that I used to have in my shop. So rather than binning it, I just use them use the old laminates. So I tend to pop a bit of the E6000 on, use a cocktail stick, kebab stick, and now you can see that I've put too much on there. Now with a lot of glues that would be a real problem. With this one it's not, because it dries clear and you can just pull off any excess. Now it's probably a good idea as well just to pop it on the end here as well. So pop that on there. That really is too much, but it doesn't matter. You just wipe that away. And I tend to hold both parts for about 30 seconds just to allow it time to fuse. Now, curing time for it is 24 hours, so don't wear it for 24 hours. All right, so that's that. Now, obviously you do the other side exactly the same, but what I want to show you is how we do the detail. All right, so this is the detail that we've got on this one. Now I've got 6 there, but as we're on demo, I think I'm just going to do 4, and I think I can use my excess ones that I've trimmed off. Whoops. Well, let's use 6 for now. I can always trim them off. So as before, I'm going to make those the same length, make it a bit easier to work with. I'm going to pop that through the hole. Hopefully I've got enough. And then, like we did with this, I'm going to do an overhand knot. So I'm just wrapping that around my finger. Might have to cut more, I'm not sure. And then bring that through the loop. All of them through the loop. Okay, now I pop my scissors in there so that I can make sure, actually one of them hasn't quite come through. There we go. I'm popping that there so that I can try and get this as close as possible to the donut. Okay, and then pull them so you've got them nice and neat. There doesn't need to be a front and a back. Now I've left a gap with them on there. Now I'm going to use, just to pick out the colours in the necklace, I'm going to use some of the beads the same colour. So let's go for a middle one. Now again, you know, use whatever beads you want to, and you can use a bead soup. Just try and coordinate the colours if you can. Now I think, I'm not sure whether this is jade or not. I've got some of these available. They're absolutely beautiful. These are turquoise howlite. You just need to make sure that the beads fit onto the thread. Now I'm having a few problems with the thread, so I'm just going to light the end, which hopefully will make it a little bit easier. Got shakes tonight. Alright, so I think I might place a little brown one on the bottom as well. But you get the gist. And then you do an overhand knot. You might need to do 2, but that one is fine. So there we go. Let's just show you what I've done. That's super cute. And then obviously, you know, you just do it as you wish. You might want to spend a bit of time looking at where all of these threads fall naturally, you know, as to where you're going to put them. I'll just do one more, and then what we'll do is we will go on over to looking at the gemstone bead. These are turquoise howlite again. Now these are in the thread as well. I think they're absolutely yummy. And the stars, I'm going to put those on tomorrow. Haven't quite gotten round to doing those yet. But you get the idea, and I would do some sort of different lengths as well if you can, is maybe try and marry up with the other side. So right, let me show you that. Okay, so you can obviously have as few or as little as you want. Now if you had more than you wanted, you know, you started out with the 6, you only want 3, just trim them up underneath the knot and just put either a dab of glue or nail varnish to seal it. Now to actually seal these as well, I would trim, whoops, trim and just seal the knot at the end. So eventually, I'm loving that, eventually you will end up with something like this. So if you can see, what I've tried to do on this one is I've got smaller lengths on the outside and then sort of longer lengths either side and a focal bead in the middle. So I hope you like that, but do ask any questions. This is how the clasp looks like at the end. I've got a nice little extender on there as well. Also great if you make it too short. So I'm just going to tidy up a little bit before we move on to the next one. Let's just move these bits out of the way. Right, okay. Now, this is how I've attached this one, but I'm going to show you how we do that. Now, let me grab, I'm going to do a couple of short threads just to show you. So I've used, let's just zoom in a bit more so that you can see. I have used a soldered ring. What is a soldered ring? It's literally, as it says on the tin, it's soldered. It doesn't have a slit in it. So basically none of your threads are going to get through any little gaps. It's really secure. And I've just attached it to begin with. Now this is going to be covered up in a moment. I just want to show you the start, and then I want to show you how we put the bead together as well. So we've seen how we do the ends. I just really want you to be able to feel comfortable with exploring different things. So this is the soldered ring. It's a pretty decorative one. So you'd cut your strands the same length and pop it in half. Then you pop the half through your soldered ring like so, okay? And then, I'm not sure if I've got enough cords, but it doesn't matter because it's just the principle. and then bring all of those cords through. Now I've just undone that. Right, bear with me. Let me start that again. I made a right souse here of that. Please don't let me put you off. Let's start with 4, shall we? Okay. Have a chat amongst yourselves. Right, where's it gone? There it is. Right, so this is the centre bit, and you can obviously use a bigger ring if you wish. Now, I didn't have a problem with this when I was doing it. I think it's just because I'm on camera. So, okay, so this is your long end. So you've got the soldered ring on there, the long end. So the tails you pass through that loop. Hold on to the loop and pull. It just takes a little bit of time just to make sure that you pull each one of them through. Now I've still got one of those that's not come through. It's very possible. Ah, no, there we go. All right, so that's how I've attached it. And then you would start laying out all of your, so it'd be a lot longer, you'd start laying that out on your Kumihimo board like you did before. So that would go up through there. You'd start laying it out on your board and doing as normal. Now I've attached an eyepin on there. So let's just take that off for now. So I've actually done both strands. You do it exactly the same way. I've actually popped some nail varnish on it just to make it solid, and the ends you do in the same way. Now I've got this cone end, and I've got this amethyst piece. So how are we going to attach them all together? Now I'm going to pop that on there. Now I've got to try and remember how I did it. So just close that up. You can always make your own if you wish. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go the bigger side pointing up. So basically all of those threads sit inside, and then I'm going to have a little bead just underneath it, just to give it a bit more stability. So like I say, this is called an eyepin, or you can make your own. Now turn it at a right angle just at the end of the bead. Trim it to 1 centimetre roughly. So you've got about a centimetre left. Now you grab your round nose pliers, position that on the end about a centimetre from the tip. Make sure it sits flush. It's really important that you clamp it with your non-dominant hand to keep it stable, and then start to turn until you form a loop and it touches the other side, like so. So that's that part done. And now what we're going to do is actually attach that on there. So this is a head pin. The head pin, it reminds me of a little nail, so it's just got a flat bottom to it. Now to save basically the, I'm going to think, shall I go for a goldy coloured? Oh no, we haven't got gold in this one. I'm going to pop a seed bead on the bottom, a size 8 seed bead, because sometimes the head pin goes straight up through the whole of the big bead, and this will stop it from doing so. Now we would only want a centimetre left. Now as it happens, that's all I've got left on this one, so I'm going to turn that at a right angle, and we're going to loop that back. So stabilise it with your non-dominant hand. You don't need to do it in one foul swoop, and if you're running out slightly, just start to move towards the tips. So when I say running out, if you know you haven't got as much to work with, just use the tip of that. Okay, now you could always pop a jump ring in between both. I'm going to see how it sits, so I'm going to open that up, just lift it up slightly, hook that in to there and close that up. And there you have your amethyst focal bead, your beautiful little end cone, which is pretty much disguising all of those bits at the start, and then you've got all of the detail. So let's just zoom out so that you can actually see that. So I think that's rather lovely, and the good thing is you've got lots of movement with it as well, because sometimes, you know, if you're attaching this straight onto it, it can be quite stagnant. So I love the fact that, you know, you've got movement with that. And then you just add the ends as well. So I hope you found that useful. Let's zoom out. Let's switch you over to the other stand. And let's see how you found that. Oh, right on time. Sandra says, very nice, thank you. Jackie, love that. Carol, we've got some hearts going on there. Linda, that's really gorgeous, thank you. Janet, love it. That's so lovely. I'm so pleased that you like it. Don't worry that you were late, Betsy. It's great to have you. Right, you would welcome to learn whipping stitch. Okay. I may do that in a separate one, but just bear with me because I don't think I've got any more bits that I can show you with. So what I might do is do a mini video and post it up in the week. This was such a nice technique. I'm gaining confidence in watching the live sessions. I'm so pleased about that. That really is lovely to hear. And I'm really pleased that you love the designs. I mean, they aren't designs that I've copied from anybody else. They're designs that I've brought to the table, so to speak. However, it doesn't mean that there aren't designs out there like that, because, you know, we're all inspired by different things, and I am very happy for you to make these and sell these designs with your own mates. Not a problem at all. I must admit, I have so enjoyed doing the Kumihimo. Let me show you this one. I just think, let's just, do you know what? And I think I'm going to keep these. I'm not going to part with these. I just think, okay, you've got a really beautiful focal bead, or you've got a really beautiful piece that you've made, a bead embroidery wire work, is, you know, why not frame it? I just think that really frames it. I've got some of these coming up in the thread tomorrow, you know, to just for 20 grams. So it's £1.30 for 10 gram bags. So effectively it's £2.60 to make the full beaded part of the necklace, plus obviously whatever you put with it. The other one is, I really love, I know it's not finished yet, but I really love the bead combinations with this. And I might have to play around with how that sits as well. But I love the fact that, can you see with the silver lined as well, I've blended in the silver lined with the opaques as well in that one. Carol, I am doing workshops in my little hidey hole. So if ever anybody's interested and they want me to run a workshop, do let me know what it is you're looking at doing and we can get one set up. The colours in the colours in the donut are really beautiful, but you know what? If you just look at, like, if you looked at the donut on its own, right, it doesn't look a lot, does it? But if you can just use your imagination to pop some of the colours out with being a little bit more adventurous, it really does help. What are the colour names? Right, okay, so in this one you've got silver lined turquoise blue, opaque blue, okay. In this one you have opaque turquoise blue, silver lined brown, and just plain silver lined. This one, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see I've got stripes? Now, I've used a silver line purple and I've used a transparent purple. So that's how I've actually got the stripes on that one, is the fact that they're different beads. Yes, I love the spring light colours of that one as well. So I'm just making sure. I do apologise if I've missed any of your interaction or questions. Unfortunately, they don't all come up during the live. So I will go back and just make sure that there's none that I've missed. So we've got lots of love for it. Brilliant. Don't forget, you know, do share your makes, whatever they are. It doesn't have to be jewellery either, in our Beaders of Beads by Verchiel. You're all welcome to join. I have my website as well, beadsbyverchiel.co.uk. I don't have everything on there because, to be honest, by the time I put it up in the Facebook group, it's gone a lot of the time. But there's products that I can easily get repeats on that are in there. Size 10 seed beads are in there. The 8, I will get round to it. And please subscribe to my newsletter as well if you land on my website. So today's giveaway. I thought I would give away one of my pre-made bracelets. I don't know if you watched the craft store, but this was one of my gemstone bracelets. So in this, what have you got in this? You've got cherry quartz, amethyst, rose quartz, carnelian. You've got quite an array, and agate, and you've got this pretty little tree of life charm. That is this week's giveaway. You've got a nice little extender. You are very welcome to gift it if you wish. I won't tell anyone you haven't made it, honestly. I know you could. So that's this week's giveaway. Right, let me just see if we've got any more comments. Saba, these colours are already in the group. You can already purchase them. If you use the eyeglass, search size 8 and they'll all come up for you. They're already in the group. I hope that sort of was what you were asking. Hello, Lucy. The opaque turquoise is such a lovely colour. Really nice, bright and summery. Summery, springy. It is, isn't it? So I hope you enjoyed that. Keep your eyes out. There's lots of delights coming up tomorrow. Some already in the group as well. Go back and have a look at those agate donuts that are left. I've got more donuts coming tomorrow, but they're slightly different. Some are metal, some are hematite, some are rectangular shaped, some shell. So keep your eyes peeled. Anyway, I will let you guys go. I hope you enjoy it. I will pop this onto YouTube as well over the next couple of days, so it's easier to watch. But we'd love to see any makes that this has inspired you to do. Anyway, take care, guys.